Zach, life beat depression. It's day 856, and we are back with another Fix It Somatic Healing Sessions to wipe out depression. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here now. Anyone who's tuning in later, appreciate you guys and girls out there. As you know, it's a martial arts for mental health show. We like to focus in on those mental health tools first. First one we want to cover is that gratitude tool. I want to shout out gratitude to everybody who's been supporting the cause as usual, and to the first one in, Jax Atavi, thank you for being here. Appreciate your support. I also want to shout out gratitude to Easton Martial Arts and to Bang Muay Thai out there in Denver for all of their support. And I want to shout out gratitude to Eurobus. In case you guys don't know, Eurobus is the company that is handling the bus repair, and that is our destination for this trip out here. I am on my way back to that dream machine out there, and hopefully get that thing back on the road as soon as possible so we can get back to offering free heavy bag therapy for anybody in need. So stay tuned for that. And we're going to do some cool stuff once we get the bus going again too. And we'll be doing some cool stuff out there in Buena Vista. Now the bus is located, like I said, in Buena Vista at Eurobus. A gratitude going out to John and Jeremy out there at Eurobus for doing the repair. And Buena Vista is at 8,000 feet elevation. The mile-high city of Denver was 5,600 feet. Where we are now, Colorado Springs, is a little over 6,000 feet, close to 6,600. So we have climbed another 1,000 feet in elevation, and as such, my body is going to, again, need to adjust and adapt. So the next couple of days, even during our normal higher intensity rounds, I'm going to be taking it at low intensity. Yesterday, when we did that somatic healing active recovery session, we tapped into that breathwork tool known as the yogic breath of fire. And even though that's conditioned my system at sea level for over a year, doing it on the top of the mountain was a totally different experience. And afterwards, I was wiped out. I was completely fatigued, more so than training an entire day at high intensity at these martial arts training facilities. So that just goes to show you the effects that altitude can have on the body, and especially when you're doing exercise. It's a tremendous amount of work just for your body to adapt. So when you add exercise to that, it's putting a huge strain. It's like doing high intensity exercise even when you're at low intensity. So that being said, we're now 1,000 feet higher than we were yesterday. I'm going to drop that intensity down. It is a Monday, standard day. We're going to have our 3 rounds, 3 minutes each, 1 minute breaks in between to catch your breath and drink some water. Shout out to Sean Toffick. Thank you so much for your support, brother. Appreciate you tuning in from Jersey. Thanks for being here, man. So we're going to have our standard rounds, 3 minutes each, 1 minute breaks, like I said, to catch your breath, check in on you, drink some water, make sure you are not pushing too hard. And I'm going to be doing the same thing because, like I said, I did elevate again, so I need to stay in tune with my system. I need to pay very close attention to what my body's telling me so that I don't dehydrate or do more damage than I'm doing good out here. It is a risk. The oxygen level is less, the pressure is less in the air, so I've got to take into consideration all of my circumstances. Same way that I encourage you guys to tune in and show up to your skill level. Give yourself a challenge, but don't push too hard. So you need to check in, you need to be reasonable with yourself. Make sure if things like you didn't get enough sleep last night, or you were out partying, or you drank alcohol, those things are going to affect your performance. So you don't want to set the same expectation. Ideally, you don't want any expectations because it's one of the roots of suffering. But if you are going to set an expectation, set it for the moment. You don't want to try and do the same thing that you did the day before if you have different circumstances today. So make sure you're tuning into you, listening to your body, and giving yourself a challenge. But not too much of a challenge, right? Find that flow zone. That's the goal. Flow, everyday flow. And then we can do 2 active recovery days per week, and we can work out smart, and we never need to take a day off. That's how I got to 856 days of consecutive training, and that's how I'm looking forward to the next 856 days. So that being said, we're going to get into today's lesson. Standard rounds, 3 minutes each, 1 minute breaks to catch your breath, drink some water. And we're going to flow again. We're going to use that shadow boxing format we've been doing so far. Shout out gratitude to Lisa the Luminary and Slayer Ken as well. Talked about the gratitude tool. Think about what you're grateful for. We didn't really talk about the progress tracking tool, but let's mention it's been 856 days of consecutive progress for me, the Sackman. Let me know how many days it's been for you. By keeping track of that number, it can build up in the mind the more self-confidence, self-esteem, and self-validation, and slowly but surely empower you to give yourself the credit that you deserve for your strength and endurance out here, fighting forwards every day, despite anything that's telling you to stop. Checking in on comments, Ken says 464 days. Also, there's a snowstorm here in Atlantic City. Won't be back to work till Wednesday. Well, bunker down, man. I hope you do well out there in Jersey. And I'm glad to see you here making the most of that time off. Boy. Alright, that being said, let's get into the lesson. Today I wanted to cover, for the technical side, alright, we'll try to cover one technical tool along with that regular shadowboxing training. Let's see if we can get a better, I don't think we can get a better view because of the lighting. Nah. Yeah, this is going to be it. That's the one right there. So for the technical side of our shadowboxing training today, I wanted to cover with you guys and girls the difference between a roundhouse kick, which is Muay Thai, and a crescent kick, which is found in several other martial arts. Taekwondo, I believe it's in karate as well. And encourage you guys to free yourself, especially when we're doing flow-based training, to free yourself from the format. Free yourself from the single stance or that locked-in mindset where it has to be all Muay Thai. Remember, the goal here is mental health. I'm not aiming to create competing athletes for any particular martial art here. We're focusing on building ourselves up and empowering ourselves with different tools so we can mix. We can mix striking patterns. We can throw a little bit of this and a little bit of that in there and really make a routine that's our own, a routine that we enjoy. And that way it will never be routine, right? We can stay creative and enjoy that self-care every single day. So we're going to cover the difference between a crescent kick and a roundhouse kick, because they're very similar, but they're also very different. And they can be used in different ways. So for a roundhouse kick, we've practiced many roundhouse kicks. I'm not sure how well it's going to go in snow boots, because typically you want to be on the ball of your foot so that you can rotate nice and easy. But let's cover the roundhouse kick first. For the roundhouse kick from your Muay Thai stance, nice and balanced, chin tucked, guard high by the brow line, what we normally do is step off of that center line, right? Opening up that gate, opening up the hips for the roundhouse kick. We reach across with the hand on the same side that's going to chop for the kick, and we want to turn the hips over as we swing that leg around. Whoosh, swing it through, making sure that we turn that hip over and we're connecting with the shin. We're using the shin to chop through, right through our opponent. Shout out to Gabriel Rojas, thanks for being here. So that's the roundhouse kick from Muay Thai stance, roundhouse, right? We're nice and balanced, we're squared up with our opponent. We open up that gate, we open up the hips here, step off that line, we're gonna pivot on the ball of that foot, and we're gonna toss this leg over, rolling that hip, twisting at the hip, rolling the hip over, and chopping through with the shin. That's our standard roundhouse kick. Now, when you bring that up higher to the head level, it's the same thing. We're still stepping off the line, we're just tossing it whoosh, high, but we're making sure we roll that hip over. Now, the difference between that roundhouse kick and a crescent kick is the hip roll. Without the hip roll, that's a crescent kick. So it's essentially the same mechanics there. It's a little bit less effective when it comes to doing damage, but it's still going to hurt, still going to disrupt your opponent, and it's still something we can throw in there. And the cool thing is, maybe you don't have good hip mobility. Maybe you're not good at rolling those hips over, or maybe you need to think quickly and you don't have time to step off the line. Well, even if you don't have time to step off that line and open up the hips for the turn, you can still toss around a crescent kick, which would have been a roundhouse kick if you had turned that leg over. So shout out to Tanea, thanks for being here. Yes, we're sharing a little technical here at the beginning, and then we're going to get into the shadowboxing sesh. Shout out to Master Checo, appreciate you, brother. Says I love you too, man. It's all good. All right, back to stance. We're talking about the roundhouse kick. So Muay Thai roundhouse kick, we step off the line, we open up those hips, we reach across, and we roll the hip over, right? Check it out. Look at the hip. The leg comes up, the hip turns, rolls over. Look what happens to the angle of the leg. That shin primed to chop through our target. With a crescent kick, you don't have to open up the hips. It helps, but you don't have to open up the hips, and you don't have to roll the hip on the opposite side. You can just toss that leg up and over. That's a crescent kick. Boom. Crescent kick. Crescent kick. And you don't have to pivot all the way around. You could if you'd like. These snow boots are not helping, so I'm not gonna. But you don't have to turn the hip over, It's almost the same mechanics. And then you can mix that up, mix it into your routine, which is what we're going to do today. And whew, as a reminder to myself, because I'm already feeling it, I just climbed probably another close to 1,000 feet in elevation to get here to Colorado Springs. So I need to dial down my intensity. I got to keep myself under control. Can't get carried away with those striking patterns. But we can still show up, take a step forwards, make some progress, give ourselves credit for that, because we are becoming unstoppable out here in the face of anything that is trying to tell us otherwise, like the lies that depression sells us or the lies that anxiety sells us. So that is the crescent kick versus roundhouse kick breakdown. Now it's time to get into our shadowboxing session. Remember, visualize your opponent, visualize it as an active threat, use the striking patterns that you enjoy. But today I'd like you to mix in the crescent kick and the roundhouse kick and get yourself some practice there. We'll toss a couple of them in isolation at the beginning, and then we're going to just start flowing with it. Get creative, have fun, enjoy that time, give yourself the challenge, making sure it's not too much and not too little. Too little, you fall into boredom. Too much, you wind up with more anxiety. You want that flow zone in between. You can make progress every day, lose track of time, and just really enjoy being grounded in the moment. All right, here we go. Square up with your visualized opponent. We're still using Muay Thai stance here, guard high by the brow line, and start working those 1-2s, whoosh, 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 1, 2, 3, shh, shh, shh. Remember, I'm keeping it low intensity, so moderate to your intensity out there. Bum, 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 bum. You can throw those punches with more power, with more speed, and we're gonna start working on the crescent kick. So let's toss a roundhouse first, Muay Thai roundhouse, whoosh, turning that hip over. And we're back on target, back on stance. Now we're going to turn it into a crescent kick. So we're not going to turn the hip over. We're just going to swing the leg through. Swing the leg through. Still, you can pivot on the ball of that foot by keeping the knee slightly bent. Keep the weight on the ball of the foot, right? Heel slightly raised. And we're bringing that leg around. Remember, this is not a Muay Thai kick. It's a crescent kick. We're just spicing it up. We're improving our creative routine. Keep working those punches, right? Toss the jab, the cross, the hook. Visualize that opponent. Work slips and counters in there. Huss, huss, huss. Focus on form, staying nice and balanced. And let's toss a roundhouse kick together. Muay Thai roundhouse kick. Open up the hip, pivot on the ball. Huss. Turn that hip over and chop the arm in the opposite direction. Let's make it a crescent kick now. You can throw it high towards the face. We're coming across the face with the base of the foot. And whoosh. There it is, crescent kick, back to stance. You'll notice the mechanics are almost the same, just not rolling the hip. Now we've got a whole nother kick in our arsenal. Let's keep it moving. Bum, bum, bum. Visualize that target. Work some measuring jabs. Work on pulling their defense. Bum. Pull that defense down. Bang, bang. Hit them with those counters. Pop, pop, pop. Think about what flows with what, right? Hook is a good thing to set up your roundhouse. Let's toss a roundhouse right out of the hook. Step into the hook. From here, roundhouse kick. Boom. Now let's do the same thing but use a crescent kick. Step into the hook. And now we're going to toss a crescent kick. Whoosh. Bang. All the way around and back to stance. No hip roll. Foot's flat. Instead of connecting with the shin and chopping through our target, we're connecting with the very bottom of the foot, the instep or that ball of the ankle right in the face. It's going to do some damage. All right, let's keep it going. Hit them with the 1-2s. Bah, bah, bah. Mix it up. Work your movement. Remember to move as a fighter. Huss, huss, huss. Don't bring those feet together. Keep them nice and balanced. Chin tucked. Guard high. Huss, 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 huss. And visualize that opponent. Huss. Toss those shots that you enjoy. The ones that work for you. You can work some teeps in there. Boom. Boom. And push to your intensity level. Work that crescent kick in. Huss. And back to stance. Bam, bam, bam. Remember, exhaling out the mouth can add power into those punches by activating the core. And stay dangerous in all directions. It's the end of round one. Catch your breath. Drink some water. There's a whole bunch of love going on out here. I appreciate all the love in the comments. Hey, and shout out to everybody supporting. Tanea, thanks for being here. Lisa Luminary, love you too. Love everybody out here. It's all good. Agape. Bearded Powers, appreciate you. I feel like I'm developing bearded powers myself. And Tanea says, feel like I need to write all this down. These are great. You don't have to write it down because this episode, like all episodes, are saved on our daily training page at Sack Life Official. Just check out on our main page, if you scroll over to the IGTV section and tap series, you'll find daily training. All of the episodes are saved there, and if you miss it there, you can catch it in high quality on YouTube at Sack Life Daily, one word. Check out Sack Life Daily, one word on YouTube. If you missed this lesson, you can always go back. Beat depression at your own discretion. Back into stance. Let's go. We got another 3-minute round coming. Let's work. Bam, bam, bam. Work on the jab cross. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. And keep that movement going. Bam, bam, bam. Remember, visualize that active threat and think about different ways to move around it. If you start sparring and you start finding things that you're weak on, or maybe finding areas where you keep getting caught slipping on your defense, work on those areas in shadow boxing. That's where you can prepare, even in isolation, even alone. You can prepare getting those slips better, keeping that guard high on the slip, countering out of the slip, maybe parrying jabs and countering, maybe parry the jab, step in and pivot hook. Just get creative, enjoy different things, think about different things, but make it realistic. Make it like you're really versing someone here, an active threat, and work on keeping it elusive. Bam. If you're going to throw kicks, they're big movements. They're usually spotted from far away, so you want to cover up those kicks with punches. You want to think about what punches you can throw in the face of that opponent so they don't see the preload for the kick coming, right? If we throw a couple quick jab, cross, jab, and from here, pendulum kick, bang, that jab can still be in their face, blocking their vision. They don't see the kick coming in. Let's talk about the crescent again. I'm going to dial my intensity down. Remember, check in on you. Make sure you're not overreaching. Work on those jabs and cross, the hook, cross. From here, from the cross, we're going to link in the round, and then we'll switch it to the crescent kick as well. So let's step in for the jab, rotate through for the cross, and from here I want you to chop the cross arm down, turn the hip over, open up that gate, right? Open up those hips and roll that hip over so that we can do a nice Muay Thai roundhouse. Use the shin chopping through that center mass. Let's do it. Throw the cross, open up the hip, and roll the hip over. Make sure it rolls over. Boom. All the way through, back around. Nice Muay Thai roundhouse from the cross. Now we're going to do a cross into a crescent kick. So same thing. The cross should cover up that preload for the crescent kick. We can rotate through here, and look at the difference. Don't have to step off that much. You're still kind of straight line, and from right here, we can just toss that kick up. Whoosh, boom. Toss that kick up right across the face, and then bring it back around 180 degrees. Again, not a Muay Thai technique. The crescent kick is not part of the Muay Thai arsenal. It's just something we're throwing in there, a little spice from other martial arts to vary up that training and keep it interesting, keep it fun. Bum, bum, bum. Keep it going. Work that crescent kick in there. Keep your movement going. Stay on the ball of the feet. Work on your slips. Throw uppercuts. Bam, 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 bam. And that's the end of round 2. Catch your breath, drink some water. Woo! We got 55 seconds, and we'll get into our final session. Final session, just, again, continue to flow. Continue to grow through what you go through. Give yourself a challenge. Without the challenge, there is no growth. That challenge can come from intensity, volume, or complexity. So giving yourself new things to learn along the way, you get to continue to level up every day. Same way I'm doing it out here. It's been 856 days of forward momentum, and it feels great. You're getting closer and closer to becoming superhuman every day. It's incredible. So I hope that you guys can have this feeling too. I wish to share this feeling with as many people as possible. And I just want you to know, if you are following this account, you are welcome to train on the Beat Depression bus for free when it's in your area. Just hit me up in the DMs and we'll train out in nature. You get to experience the same kind of magic that's making my life better 10 minutes at a time. All right, let's do it. Pop back in the stance. Final session. Just get creative with this one. Throw that intensity. Make sure you're giving yourself a challenge here. And work those crescent kicks in. Boom. Maybe you want to stop on a dime. Maybe you don't want to follow all the way through with that crescent kick like it just did. Bam, bam, wuss, bang, pa, and step back, ba, ba, ba. Let's think about other ways we can use it. Bam, bam, bam. Just flow here though. This is all about you making that session your own. You can use it from the opposite side, from the lead side. Remember, give yourself that challenge. Without the challenge, there is no growth. Oi. Let's go. Let's work the pivot. Keep the guard high. Let's work on a different one. Roundhouse, 180. Bring the opposite leg up to pull guard. Hey, blocking that incoming kick. Let's do it again. Roundhouse, 180. Block with that opposite guard. Back to stance, offense and defense. Hey, let's go. Minute left. Keep going, keep throwing. Crescent. And crescent back. Hey. Let's go. Work the teep to the body. Teep to the head. Boom, boom, boom. Keep going. Roundhouse kick. Turn the hip. Ba ba. Crescent kick. No hip turn. Mechanics almost the same. Let's go. 28 seconds left. Keep going. Pump that intensity. Let's go. Work your slips. Work your rolls. Hey, it's the end of round 3. I don't think I kept it low intensity, but it feels good. Definitely gave myself a challenge. Woo! Hopefully I don't pay for it later. It's easy to get carried away because I love this. I'm having the time of my life out here, enjoying every minute. I hope that you guys and girls are doing the same. Remember, you don't need company to do the things you love. You don't need company to enjoy life. Yes, company will enhance enjoyment, but you can do the things you love alone. Give yourself the greatest time of your life, doing whatever it is you're passionate about. Follow that passion, follow that joy, that love in your life. Don't let anything stop you. And especially don't let the lies and temporary feelings that depression or anxiety feed us stop you from recognizing your truth, your power and your endurance. And work on those tools. Find those tools that work for you. Until next time, I will catch all you guys checking in. Let's check out on the comments before I go. Woo! Brian HC, thanks for being here. Says flying like a butterfly, heck yeah. Master Checo says I'm killing it, working on it. Tanea says she loves the combo. Brian HC, love the piece of wisdom. This is what serves me well. I'm out here to share my truth. Truth is not linear, it's not black and white, it's not the same for everybody. But through my life experience, this is my truth. It's saved my life, it's helping other people save their lives, and all I'm gonna do for the rest of my life is share it, because every day it becomes more and more worth it. So thank you everybody for being here. Woo! Until next time, I'll catch you same exact time, same exact channel, same exact life. Zach Man out. Woo!